Hi there. I'm your host, Corinne, and this is Okay, But Are You Good? Where we check in on ourselves on a weekly basis to see how we're doing. Are we living our best lives or are we just trying to get by? Happy almost New Year. We are 2 days out to 2026. Can't believe it. I'm so ready if I haven't made that obvious enough. And I just know 2026 is going to be a good year. I'm trying to manifest it. So we've talked about habits or changes we want to bring into the new year. We talked about what we're leaving behind and hoping to kind of bring into 2026. So let's end this 2025 and go into 2026 and start it with sort of a soft era, if you will, of not feeling like such a harsh reset. If you're not going from 0 to 100 January 1st, maybe you will, because if you've been making those changes that we've worked on in this last quarter of 2025, but there doesn't need to be this harsh reset. We want softness and intention and peace and not so much immediate new year, new me. It could still be a new year, new me, but let's ease into it a little bit. So this episode is all about visualizing your soft, peaceful era. The version of you who ends with clarity, calmness, and confidence without rushing, forcing, or overthinking, which is my hardest thing to not do. So let's end it on calm because my year started so harshly and crazy. So I want to ease into 2026 because there's just something so peaceful and like confident or maybe even powerful about choosing to begin the new year gently. No pressure, not with any kind of hustle culture, and no expectation to have your life complete 180, fixed, everything's perfect in January. Because unless you've been working towards it, your life will look the same. But if you make these small changes, shifts in mindset, they will grow into the upcoming months. Because softness doesn't mean weak. It means controlled, intentional, and choosing peace even when chaos is an option. So what might this soft era look like? Emotionally, your reactions might slow down. You might actually pause and think before you speak. I need to work on that. You're listening before you respond. You're letting your intention speak first. And instead of spiraling, you're choosing clarity. You're taking the chance to step back and be like, is this the reality happening in the situation right now? Or is it my mind telling me the opposite and causing me to go down that dark rabbit hole and lead to the overthinking, the anxious thoughts that everyone's mad at you when they're not? We are just taking an emotional slow ride. You don't need to have the biggest reactions in the room, the biggest personality 24/7. You can just ease into things and just be calm. It's really just being focused on yourself and your reactions and your emotions and yada, yada, yada. How I always say, you can only control yourself and not other people. I think that's kind of easing into this softness era. So this is focusing on our emotions, focusing on our mental health, doing what makes us happy. Make sure we're taking care of our mental health, whether that's going to therapy, writing, journaling, talking to ourselves, just really focusing on the inner in us, our internal thoughts and emotions and feelings. And remember, it is good to have feelings, but make sure they're in control and they're calm. So we have our emotions, what we got to do to stay cool, calm, and collected. But what about our lifestyle? Some lifestyle changes would be slower mornings, getting up earlier, not having to be so rushed. I am going to be working on that this year, going to bed earlier so I can wake up earlier and have more of my morning to myself and not just rushing out the door to get to work. Sticking to healthy routines, doing stuff for your mental and physical every day to some aspect that's going to look different for everyone. So figure out what works for you and remember to not compare yourself to other people. I need to work out every day, so I'm going to make sure I keep doing that because it's so good for my mental and physical health And I'm still training for my marathon. So I got to keep up so I don't completely like crash out running all those miles. So sticking to this healthy routine, eating good, drinking my water, we're working on the sleep, as I keep saying, but making sure in your lifestyle and your day to day, there's time to breathe, meaning, or I interpret that as like, or giving yourself space to breathe, meaning making sure there's time for yourself, doing self care. This could be so many things. Face mask, taking 30 minutes to just sit there and binge watch a show, whatever it is, play on your phone, just space or time for yourself. And that is easier once you have your schedule down, your routine, and you know how to navigate your day to day. And making time and effort for space to enjoy little moments, like having your coffee in the morning, listening to music, just being more in the moment and then appreciating like what you have, because life moves at us fast. We're doing a million things at once. So trying to just take a step back and appreciate everything around you. So with appreciating everything around us, there comes our relationships, our friendships. We're making sure we're not around people that make us feel less than and make us feel like we are nothing. We are making sure we're surrounded by people that lift us up, make us happy. It's an equal playing field. We're not just making sure we're not in a relationship that's all take and no give. And so let's work on that together, because I'm ready to cut some people out of my life and I'm ready to keep the ones I really love in it. So make sure you surround yourself with people that you really care about and that really care about you. That is why you keep hearing that from me, because it is so important. Your environment matters. Who you surround yourself with. If you're surrounded with people that are successful, you most likely will end up successful. If you're around people that are not and don't do anything with their lives, you will most likely do the same and just be unhappy. So make sure you're surrounded by people that uplift you and bring out the best in you and not tear you down just because they're miserable. I'm so ready to leave some people behind and meet new people in this upcoming year. And lastly, the last thing of this soft era, like what it might look like. We've talked about emotional, lifestyle, relationships. It's yourself. It is yourself. I want to make sure this upcoming year is speaking to myself kindly, forgiving myself quicker, and not just focusing on everything that's gone wrong ever, even when everything's fine. Making sure I take rest, or making sure I prioritize rest, and just really balancing out. Like I really want to balance my lifestyle out of, working out, work, just like that. I always picture the triangle of like, or maybe it's a square now, but the work, friends, family, self, so I guess for me, it's a square. I want to make sure that's more balanced. And if I need a break, I'm taking the time to rest. And I really want to find a good balance between being happy and joyful and productive and not just overworking myself. So I guess it goes back into that little box of work, family, friends, self. Just like really finding a good balance. And I know it's just going to bring me so much joy and like clarity. So that's kind of like everything I'm thinking soft era looks like for myself. Maybe it's for you as well. Everyone has different factors, of course. As I've mentioned over the last few episodes, this year was very challenging and felt so chaotic. And I'm hopeful and grateful that I'm going to start this year very cool, calm, and collected, and just so grateful and just like take in my surroundings, just appreciate what I have, and that this new year, it's 2 days away. There's only so much that will happen, but it's not, I wish like when the new year started, like everything was like reset. Like it is reset, but I've been working so hard to get a routine down, my schedule. So I'm just ready to have more control of my day-to-day, my emotions, and leave the chaos behind and like really just like ease into what works for me and not let all these outside voices impact what I'm doing. that's why I'm focusing on my emotional and my lifestyle and my relationships and I guess taking care of myself, because I really want outside factors that do not bring me joy to stay there and out of my way. I am all focused on being happy and being kinder to myself. That like online, I've been seeing that statement of like, how you talk about your friends is how you should talk about yourself. And I'm always happy and joyful to talk about my friends. So I want to be like that with myself. So trying to remind myself that. And I probably sound so calm and cool and collected this episode because I am. I'm just chilling. I'm happy. And like, I've just realized I'm choosing peace. I'm not letting other stuff that happened throughout this year really, I'm leaving it behind and I don't want to bring it into the new year. So we're just choosing peace and light. So how can we walk into 2026 intentionally? Oh, it's so crazy. It's going to be 2026. I still can't believe it. But one is choosing peace over proving. Stop over explaining. Stop trying to convince people. Just live your life. Just do you, and they will do them, and it will work itself out. You don't need to prove yourself to other people. You can just live your life and things fall into place. 2, simplify your environment. Make sure your space is how you want it to be. Clean it, organize it in whatever way, whatever floats. I was always very organized and clean. My sister, not so much, but she's gotten better. It's just, it's what you make your space yours. And if you need your space to be a little chaotic, and that's what works for you, then you do that. But what you surround yourself with is how you're going to be, whether that's literally your room or the people you're with. So make sure you're choosing wisely. And if something's not working for you anymore, you need to change it or clean it up. 3, protect your mornings and evenings. This is why having a routine in the morning and the evening is so important, because that starts your day and it grounds your day. So that's why you need to make sure you incorporate things that you look forward to doing in the morning and in the evening. I feel like I've gotten both of those routines down to a certain extent. Like I'm always doing my skincare. I'm always making sure I'm cleaning up or putting away, depending if it's the morning and evening. Journaling, which is what you do both morning and night if you got that 5-minute journal. So just make sure you get your routines down, because that is the time that you are with yourself and taking care of yourself and doing something for yourself. So make sure you figure out what works for you and what makes you look forward to waking up in the morning and going to sleep. 4 is limiting access to your energy. Not everyone deserves a spot on your team. Not everyone deserves to have you in their lives. If someone is not serving you, you do not need them. That's why I keep saying to set boundaries and just, maybe don't spend so much time with them. If someone's only bringing negativity, you need to reevaluate how much time you're spending with them, how your friendship will look like with them. So let me say it again. If someone is not serving you, you need to limit their access to your energy, because people will drain the life out of you. So don't let them. 5, slow down your decisions. We don't need to rush into things. We can take leap and bounds and do things that scare us, but sometimes there's going to be things that you need to take a moment and think about a little bit. You want to go buy a new car? You got to think about long-term, do some research maybe on what works for you and your lifestyle. That's just one random example, but you know what I mean? Like, not everything has to be so instant. We live in a world where everything is instant gratitude, or like we want that instant gratitude. Technology has made everything like so immediate, we see something online we want, we order it. We can even schedule to pick it up next day. But sometimes you're not going to get that immediate reaction or immediate reply. So you need to take a step back, ease into decisions, think about it, and it will work out. If you get just give it an extra 5 minutes. Think about what you're going to do before you do it. 6 is to focus on one thing at a time. I get really worked up so easily. It sucks, but it's who I am. So when I'm overwhelmed, especially I was with this holiday season, I made my list. And it helps me organize and not get so overwhelmed. And, seeing things written down, I'm able to check so much off in a few over a period of time. And then I don't get so stressed out. So it helps me just focusing on one thing at a time because everything always plays out. You're prioritizing and organizing what needs to get done today in the hour and what can get pushed out to next week. Like, I'm not going to redecorate my whole house in a day. I need to go buy supplies and I need to then make time to put it up. In my career, throughout my career, I've learned like what is priority and what isn't. Some things are more obvious than others. So take the time to focus on one thing at once. You don't need to completely switch your life around. You can ease into things. And lastly, practice gratitude in real time. Everyone has things to be grateful for and appreciative every day, every week. And that is why waking up and journaling and writing down a few things that we're grateful for that day. Mine's always like my health and my home and my family. Usually I am grateful to have the things that I have. And when you take the time to like think about it and not only focus on everything that's going wrong, it really helps change your perspective and how you go about your days. So make sure you're practicing a little gratitude every day because it really helps. This 2026 is not about totally reinventing yourself and changing everything about you all at once. It's about making small changes, taking a step back and looking at life through a different lens, focusing on your relationships, yourself, your lifestyle, your emotions, and becoming a more peaceful version of yourself because you deserve a year that feels intentional, light, a year that feels like softness. So make sure you check in with yourself and ask, okay, but are you good? Enjoy the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you so much for listening in. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next year.